Okay, we were discussing, we're going to get back to Nefesh Hachaim here, Hashem Thursday, but it's not working. We were discussing the, based on the Gemara, the Nefesh Hachaim based on the Gemara of that the steer in the Psukim that the Gemara asked, that first it says, La Hashem Aretz Loya, that Hashem, the whole world belongs to Hashem. It also says, Aretz Nasan Livnei Adam, and the Gemara answers, does the world belong to Hashem? Does the world belong to Adam? Whose world is this? So the Gemara answers, Kan Koidem HaBracha, Kan Achar HaBracha, without any great explanation. And we learned a lot about it, but the Gemara also has Lashonos of, just to review, that if you don't make a bracha, so there's three Lashonos in the Gemara. One Lashon seems kilu machlokes, what it is if you don't make a bracha. So one mandamer in the bracha says kilu mal, kol anena min olam zeh b'la bracha kilu mal. It's like meila. And the next mandamer is Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav kilu nene mikodshe shamayim. Kilu nene mikodshe shamayim. I'm sorry. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel kol anena min olam zeh b'la bracha kilu nene mikodshe shamayim, which I asked seems to be the other side of the coin of mal. And then the Gemara says the third lashon a little bit later. Amar Reb Chanina bar Papa kol anena min olam zeh b'la bracha kilu goyzel HaKadosh Baruch Hu Knesset Yisrael. It's a gzela. So, meila is a gzela. It all seems to be the right thing. So we learned different things, but what we're learning right now is this, I think it's Maratek, this one paragraph from Rav Kook, in which he explains the Gemara's teretz of loikashi kan koidem habracha kan lachar habracha. See, let me just say this as a brief introduction. Like everybody asks, everybody asks that why is it that the whole Megillas Esther there's no Shem Hashem? Everybody asks the question. So there's a lot of Torah. It's Benister, Aster, Panai, Bayema. Who, to me, Lani is Daiti. It's not a kasha because the whole Megillas Esther is Shem Hashem. The whole thing is one big Shem Hashem. It's a new Shem called Megillas Esther. Because what does Shem Hashem mean? Shem Hashem means the manifestation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Teva. That's what the Shem Hashem means. So we said, L'Shem Yichud Kuchabriche, L'Shem Yichud Kuchabriche Ushchita. So there's Kuchabricha, that's the Atzmius of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe said, and then there's the Shechina of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Shechina is always called the Shem. The Shem Hashem is the Shechina. And a Shem, I explained, was like, a Shem is not the Atzmius of the thing. The Shem is, you call me by my name. It's just a form of identification. It doesn't describe necessarily the Atzmius of the person. So when we talk about the Shem Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Adnai, Elokim, whatever Shem of Hashem you want, the Shem HaMeforish, whatever Shem you want to use, it can't describe Hashem Be'etzem, because Be'etzem is Ein Sof. So it can only describe HaKadosh Baruch Hu as to how we see him in this world. So that's the Shem Hashem B'Teva. So you don't need, the Megillas Esther was so deeply embedded with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The whole story is so deeply embedded with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That is a Shem Hashem. Agufa, Shem Hashem. It's Tchila V'Atzoif. There's no lack of Shem Hashem. Shem Hashem you need when we have a suffix, whether something is this from Hashem or is this just nature? Okay, so you need the Shem Hashem to say, Bereshis Bar Elokim, as Hashemayim Azar. It's for all those people that say that it didn't come about through Elokim. But the Megillas Esther is Gufa the Shem Hashem. So what we're talking about, Lashem Ha'aretz U'Blaya, Ha'aretz Nasan Livnei Adam. So let's just learn a few words here, and I want to mix into this the Gra. I don't know how it works out on the sheet. Roy Lahakir, the last paragraph on page 1. Roy Lahakir is Hanyonim Hagashmim. Let's try to get through this paragraph. Roy lahakir ha'inyanim hagashmim kulam k'machshirim es hashleimus haruchnis. I want to give you a tip. You can't learn Rav Kook quickly. He's careful with every word, and he uses hard words. So, Roy lahakir ha'inyanim, we have to understand the inyanim hagashmim. We have to know how to relate to the physical world. How do we relate to stuff, to things, to our cars, to our houses, to our wealth? How do we relate to that? So we have to see them kulam kimachshirim es hashleimus haruchshi. What's machshirim? What does it mean? So there's machshir lekabel tuma, let's say. So machshir means that preparedness. It creates a preparedness to be makabel something. Fitness, kosher. Or in your kitchen, your microwave is a machshir. Right? Meaning things that you use for preparation purposes are machshirim. Tools? Machshirim. It's an interesting...
Enabler?
No, tools. It's interesting, we call food kosher, the whole Tanakh, it doesn't say the word kosher about food. It means, I think it means more than that. But the only place it says the word kosher in the Tanakh is in Megillas Esther. Kosher hadavar lifnei hamelach. Proper. Correct. Kosher. But, so to be machshir is to make something, an enabler in that sense, to make something kosher. Kosher, kosher, in other words, exercise. Suitable. Right, so machshirim, they're machshirim, machines, they're tools. Machshirim es hashleimus haruchnis. So that we have to view. Okay, this is epic. We have to take all of the gashmius that we're surrounded with. What do we do with it? We say, oh, gashmius, or do we say, oh, I love gashmius? What do you do with gashmius? I like gashmius, but what do you do with it? What you do with it is you look at it as a machshir as hashleibus haruchnis, to bring in shleibus and ruchnis. There's a certain shleibus that I could get only through this gashmius, a certain shleibus. What is that shleibus? Shabitasa hi adas Hashem. The only shleibus in this world is das. Das. Das is chochma bina das. Das is ubala haaretz deya. Das doesn't mean just, you know how to think. Das means that the whole world is full of deya that understands and recognizes HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Aware people. So Mashiach will come, like the big chiddush will be, everyone will be aware. I don't know if it's true that people won't do Averas any longer, maybe they'll live 2 million years. This I don't know. The Rambam says nobody knows until it happens. Nobody knows. What is clear is what the Navi says, Umala haaretz deya, that one thing won't be argued about any longer, whether you're in India or whether you're in Kenya or whether you're in Israel. Everybody's makir that Hashem hu hamelach. That's das. Das, the world have das. So we have to walk around aware, being aware people. And somehow or another, the gashmius that we are blessed with are tools for that awareness, somehow. And he's going to explain. V'hamakir kazeh. Now, if you look at this, lo yimsa tachlis l'chizuk ha'koiches hagashim v'archavasim kim k'fi ha'hechrach. Okay. So you could look at it and say, let's focus in on, like a lot of us have cars. So let's focus in on our car, our automobile. So you focus on your car, so that's a machshir. So how do the superficial way of looking at it is, or let's say Madrega 1, first grade, is, okay, I have a car. Somebody told me this once, like, I have a car, Hashem gave me a car, I'm going to now pick up, every time I see a from hitchhiker, I'm going to pick him up. Okay, nice. Like Hashem gave me a car, I'm going to do chesed with the car. No, you can't argue with the. I have a car, I'm going to go to Shiurim, I'm going to go to shul, I'm going to do stuff with my car, and the car is going to be a machshir for kedusha. You can't get, that's fine. But then, if that's your mahalach, So then only use your car, harchavasim kim kifi hechrech. So use it as much as you need it for ruchnius, and otherwise stay away from it. You have to, in other words, then you have to think every time you get into your car, maybe this is right. Like, am I doing here something ruchnius? Am I doing here something gashmius? And this goes back to what we said from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Kol Masecha Yel L'Shem Shemayim, is that you should figure out, like, how me having this car or driving this car is somehow l'shem, shame, be medayik in the word shame, shamayim. It's l'shem, shamayim. Somehow or another, it's l'shem, shamayim. But let me just remind you what the Lubavitcher Rebbe taught us, which was beautiful. There's a higher madrega of b'chol drachecha de'ehu. Not that I'm using it for. Nothing is for anything. This gashmius is ruchnius because einoid vilvadai. It's a much deeper idea. But it's much higher madrega. So that's why I say, like, if you're looking for the Shem Hashem in the Megillah, it is the Shem Hashem. It's not like you got to find the Shem. Oh, this was for Hashem, that was for Hashem. The whole thing is Hashem. You see Hashem? Yeah?
Is Kafiyach the same musag as mute derech eretz?
Probably. See, you look at two. This is what we're going to explain here in the next few minutes. There's like sort of two models. By the way, I notice this is true amongst Sephardim, amongst Ashkenazim, amongst Hasidim. There's two models. There's the model of being a very spiritual person, having nothing. You know, like Rav Steinman said all the years without a back on his chair, you know. And then there's like a model of, a different model of, let's say, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Rav Hutner, you know, Malchus, you know, on the contrary, you know. So you find Rebbes like this, Rebbes like that. You find Chachamim like this, Chachamim like that. You find Rosh Yeshivas like this, Rosh Yeshivas like that. Whatever serious world you want to walk into, I'm talking about serious worlds. Whatever serious world you want to walk into, you're going to see two models. And it's hard to say what's correct, what's not correct, but let's just learn about it. The real question, which is really nogay us every single minute, is what is our yachas to the gashmius that we have or don't have? How much are we supposed to be pursuing gashmius? How much is that important? So you can become ascetic and say, I don't need, I'd rather live poor and I'd rather learn. Is that right or is that wrong? Maybe right, maybe wrong. So this is what I want to talk about here for a second. If your mahalach is that I'm just using it l'shem shamayim, I'm using everything that I have, I'm using this l'shem shamayim, so then kifiyah hecher, take it out for the shiur and put it back in the drawer after the shiur, because what are you doing? What do you have it for? In other words, if I could find a l'shem shamayim, find a l'shem shamayim. But then it's like hektish. You can't use it for anything else. Kadshe shamayim. And this is, he says, ze yuvan b'maimer la'Hashem ha'aretzum laya. Hektish. That's the pshat in the Gemara where it says la Hashem ha'aretzum laya, that Hashem owns everything. You're allowed to use it if you're using it for Hashem. La Hashem ha'aretzum laya. What am I supposed to do? It's muksa? No. It's la Hashem ha'aretzum laya means that it belongs to Hashem. So if you're using it for Hashem, use it for Hashem. I would just give a simple mashal, like here, let's say a shul. So the shul's full of all types of artifacts. But you can't, if you want to take it and use it for your own needs, for your own use, it's not right. Hashem ha'aretzum laya. The shul belongs to Hashem. So now I'm taking just take a little corner. Does it bother anybody? And I'm storing my shoes in there. I just want to do that. So Hashem ha'aretzum laya. Is it for Hashem or is it not for Hashem? You were taking bias and you're biyachid and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Would you do that in the Mishkan? No. Hashem ha'aretzum laya. It's a base Hashem. You can't. It's not your personal locker room here. Right? So that's one musag. And let me continue with my mashal that a Talmud Chacham is allowed to eat in the shul, and he's allowed to store his shoes in the shul, and he's allowed to do everything in the shul. Why? Ki tarasei umnasei. So what's the pshat in him? He made a bracha. That's the pshat. What that teaches you is that's an opposite concept. Sheyesh yitaron be'etzem he's gadlus hakoyches hagashmim ba'achar chavasam the kinyanim rabim V'ishtalma ma'idei chachma v'kishrein ma'isa. Please don't take these words lightly. Read it carefully. What Haaretz Nasa Livnei Adam teaches us, sheyesh yitaron, that there is benefit. Be'etzem hiskadlus hakoyches hagashmim, the more the merrier. The more I have, the better it is. Haaretz Nasa Livnei Adam. I gave you a land. Everybody knows that the Gemara says that when you come to Shabbat, Hashem is going to say, "Why didn't you have hana from my from this fruit, from that fruit?" Why didn't you look at my Alps? It's there to look at. Why don't you see it? Why didn't you eat strawberries? It's not. Yes. You don't like strawberries? Huh? How do you check them? But it's a taina. Do what you have to do. Eat them. You can't just be sholel. So there's this idea of v'aretz nasa livnei adam. I gave this to you. Hashem says, I gave this to you. So why don't you use it? I was just thinking about this because, like a few weeks ago, somebody gave my wife a gift. So my wife didn't like the gift, and she didn't like the person who gave it. Okay, sure. It happens.
We'll take it.
What?
We'll take the gift.
No, so the bag with the gift is sitting exactly where it's at when it came to the house. And it's Munachat Sheyaveh Eliyahu. What are you going to do with this? Not going to use it, not going to give it back, not going to sell it. Don't lick them.
More stuff.
Stuff. So it's a taina. I gave you a gift. Use the gift. If you give your wife a gift, you want her to use the gift, right? That's the hana, that using the gift. So Kadosh Baruch Hu, haaretz nasad livnei adam, use the gift. So if you're understanding something here, I will ba'amroi. When the David HaMelech says haaretz nasad livnei adam yoyre, that teaches us sheyesh yitaron be'etzem hiskadlus hakoyches hagashmim v'hacharvasam b'kinyanim rabim. The more the better. Use your brains and use your talents to get as much gashmias as possible. Or it's nasalim ne'adam.
Can't you say that the gather is, will this thing bring me closer to Hashem or take me further?
I think deeper. Hamida yeshara shebazehi. So what's the right way? Shim lo yishkal adam as erech hanois of hagashis. It sounds like he's saying what you're saying, but I think he's saying more. Let's just say, Shim lo yishkal ha'adam as erech hanois of hagashis lo kachas mehen ha'erech haroi la'shlam ha'ruchnis. That if you are taking out of every piece of gashmis we have, whatever I can to use it for ruchnis, sheyesh b'chol davar gashmi, az if I do hagdoloses hakoyches hagashmim, then if I don't do that, im lo yishkol, right? If I don't look at my gashmis and say what ruchnius is there in there, so az hiskadlusai as hakoyches hagashmis, then by so there's two people that are increasing their assets, their physical assets. So there's one person who's taking it all somehow, which we need to explain, and using it l'shem shamayim. And there's another person who's lishma. I'm just getting it because I want it. I'm gashmius l'shem gashmius. So if you don't take out, first you said, if you don't take the ruchnius out of the gashmius, this is an interesting word, oz hagdolosai as hakoyches hagashmim, then by getting more assets, timshacheu lihitzbahem, what does that mean? To become like a behemoth.
He talks about these both times. He's a kochos hagashimim, and over here says a similar language. What does that mean? I'm mechazek them, or I'm getting. You're saying you're getting more of them, but he seems to be saying something different.
I'm making my money work better for me. Or I'm making my body work better for me, or I'm working on my car. Working on my car. Lihis Bahim. So on the bottom it says here, Lashon Behema. I think that if you look at the period of Rav Kook, just a Chiddush, the time that he lived in, he probably means Lihis Bahim, you become Bohemian, which was the Shita of Bohemianism was prominent at the time of Rav Kook. Now, you could say that the word Behema the word Bohemian comes from the word Behema. Could say that.
There's a place, Bohemia.
Bohemia.
There's a place like that.
Yeah. But and the Shita of Bohemian is like live close to the earth and be earthy and use. So it's Lashon Behema. So there's like some kind of a pun on here. But the thing is, if I don't find the Ruchnius if I don't find the Ruchnius in the Gashmius that I have, so you're like a Behema, you're grazing, that's all.
But we're saying
You're just grazing around and eating grass and eating whatever you can find, eating it, smoking it, whatever you do. Like you're just walking around like a cow, except you have a car, but you're just like a cow. Sophisticated cow, so this is one mahalach. In other words, if you're a non-spiritual person at all, what he's saying is, so then you're okay. You're surrounded by gashmius, and you have you're having hanafrim. It's nice, very nice.
So if you take a drive, so either you're going to a shiur, you're picking up a hitchhiker, or you're taking a drive with your car and you're saying, I feel closer to Hashem because I'm outdoors, I'm seeing the world.
Or I need to go on vacation in Eilat so that I'll be able to be a better Jew afterwards. Beseder, I think he's saying something much deeper than that. I think this is like the obvious, forgive me, but I think that's what we get stuck in yeshivish. I think he's saying something much deeper than that. I'll tell you. We'll read it. You'll see. But that's the first thing he's saying. So amnam beyosi oideya. However, the person who knows. Exactly. It seems like what you're saying. If you can find the tzad ruchani in every davar gashmi, which is the hanhaga of the Torah, this is gewaldig. Not only if you look at your gashmias, at your possessions correctly, not only will it not be a hindrance to your ruchnias, but on the contrary, it'll give you more hashlama. Adrabakim yosifu lo einim. What does einim mean? Kochos, rashis einim. Rashis Oni. Like Bechar. Ata Bechari Rashis Oni. My strong kochos. A person will have more kochos. Alkain, therefore. Koidem habracha. This is what the whole Gemara means. This is our key. Koidem bracha she'oid le'herim michsas ha'ara haruchni sheyesh boisa ana gashmias. Before you remove the klipa of the gashmias to see the ruchnias in it. Roy shiakir, so now you have to know Lashem ha'artzum loya. We tell this person, look, everything belongs to Hashem. That's a low madrega. The whole world's a shul. Don't use it for your own personal needs. Lashem ha'artzum loya. Unless you're going to use it for something ruchnius, don't use it. But you see, that's the first. That's koidem habracha. Achar habracha is much deeper. It's not that I'm using it to learn or to go to shul or even to take a ride to rest my mind so I can learn and go to shul. No, or to enjoy nature to get closer to Hashem. No. Aval achar habracha. Once you make the bracha, shitzayer hayachas haruchani sheyesh leim hanoai agashmis, the gashmis and the ruchnis merge into one piece. Azbar chavasei lishtamish boisafes koyach hagashmi. Now, the more gashmis I have and the more gashmis I use, tarchiv daitoi tamid, I'm a bigger person. V'koychaisav hagufnim b'hisgadla miyutamin muchanim lifot tzedek v'toiv k'fi ha'ara haruchnias asher tifol alav kol b'gisha shel hana gashmis. What does it mean? I'll say to my words. The first case of Lashem ha'artzum loya means you're in shul, So just use things carefully. You should make sure you're using it for Kedusha. That's Koydem HaBracha. Achar HaBracha, my whole life is a shul. And I'm the rabbi. And I can do whatever I want, because this is the Beis Shel Talmud Chacham. Meaning, like Achar HaBracha, you don't have to make this cheshbon any longer. You don't have to make the cheshbon, I'm using my car to go to shul. I'm using my car to pick up hitchhikers. My car is an expansion of my neshama. My car is an extension of the ruchnius that I'm here, that I have with me, and it all becomes ruchnius. Achar HaBracha, that's what the bracha means. You see, like Shlomo HaMelech built a beautiful place for himself. So, like, what was he into? What happened? He was influenced by some Art Deco, designer. What was his, like, what the Mishkan is beautiful. We had a beautiful place. But Shlomo HaMelech, his own castle, his own palace was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, as I said the other day, like, you go there, it's beautiful. Beautiful grounds, views, lakes, everything. It's beautiful. So what's the pshat? They were like into Gashmias. The pshat is there was no chiluk between the Gashmias and the Ruchnias. It was all one thing. Shlomo HaMelech. Once Shlomo HaMelech it was clear that he represented the Shechina in this world. So now the Shechina is beautiful. It's not me that's beautiful. Malahar, it's day. It's all das. Do you see the difference? Once you don't need to do anything longer. This is, I think, what it means. You don't need what the Rebbe meant. You don't have to do anything any longer. L'shem shamayim. That's for amateurs. What we're doing now is ein oid milvadai. What you're looking at is kvod Hashem.
How do people make a bracha without really thinking? They're
Well,
saying you're doing it and you get into this whole thing. It seems counterintuitive.
Well, that's what we're learning here. The whole world is making a bracha. So let's talk about a bracha. Let's talk about the gra, because David is thinking, when's he going to say the gra? So what am I going to say? The gra. He keeps reminding. He's like my
Timekeeper.
Yeah, the local yakka over here. let me tell you what the gra says about this Gemara. He says about this Gemara. He says, I forgot to bring it, but it's the Pirush HaGra. I'll go to Sashas. He says, Vizu, one sentence. Vizu, I think I'm saying his lashon exactly. Vizu, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu is, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu, he says, is Lashem Ha'aretz Umlaya, Hashemayim Shemayim Lashem, rather. Melech Ha'olam is Ha'aretz Nasan Livnei Adam. Azoi steht in Gra. Koydem HaBracha, Achar HaBracha. In other words, what does it mean that I make a bracha? That I am proclaiming with my bracha. So think about your brachas. I'm proclaiming with my bracha that everything is Malchus Hashem. And once everything's Malchus Hashem, you can have whatever you want. Nobody's limiting what you have.
I can be a glutton after that. I make a bracha with the greatest,
It's all for Hashem.
the greatest kavanah, and then I can be a glutton.
But look,
that's okay.
right? But just be mature, because it's not the pshat. Somehow the bracha is matter me to be a menovel. The bracha is a statement that nothing here really belongs to me. This is all b'Hashem. And the Rambam says, I always repeat this because I feel so strongly about it. But the Rambam says that a person, he says in Hilchos Deis at the beginning, a person shouldn't live above their means, which is a problem a lot of people have. A person shouldn't live below their means, which doesn't bother us much, but it bothers me always. But you should live below your means because it's also the wrong thing. You should live according to your means. Meaning, if a person's a gevir, what are you living at a little? What are you driving a little tiny car for? You're a gevir. I don't see, like, they talk about, like, the big gevirim in America that live in a simple house with a simple car. I have no admiration for it. It's stupid. Yeah, but what's it, what? Like, so what's the big godless of this? So what are you wasting your time? Learn philosophy.
He wasn't affected by his money.
He's worried about Ein Hara.
It's a big problem.
He wasn't affected by his money. He should be affected by his money. He should give it away.
So he did.
So
So when
Not so posh.
could that be why the Ramban in Kedushim to you, he's giving you the bottom line is
Kedushim.
if you go below Navel Bereshus Torah, then that's not Kedushim. But anything
Okay,
above, as
so
long as
here
you're not a
we've got-
Navel,
it's a
as long
Ramban.
as you're not a Navel, then if you are
Right. Nobody, I don't believe, and I'll give you the caveat for this, but I don't believe in Judaism, for us, there's such a thing as doing without. I don't think that's the Nakuda. Obviously, can't be a double Bereshus HaTorah, and obviously you can't be glutton and abusive, but that's the easy way, just to push it away. Is there a Mesil Sisharm handy here? Mesil Sisharm is the Ramchal, so it sounds deeper. I call him the Ramchal. Right. But he says such a fascinating thing. It's okay, don't worry about it. Trust me. He says such a fascinating thing. He says that there's an assign of an usher, there's an assign of an ani. He doesn't say you shouldn't be an usher, you shouldn't be an ani. He says every person in this world has a different assign. So there's an assign of an usher, there's an assign of an ani. And then the assign of an usher, of an ani, is to be able to be over to Hashem, even though you don't have with what. Like how are you going to buy an usher? How are you going? It's difficult to be an ani, very difficult to be an ani. It's not a blessing to be an ani. As much as we may have rationalized it, it's not a blessing to be an ani. We daven for our children; they should have ashiras, b'derech klal. But it's a good thing to be an usher. The nisayon of an usher is that I should be able to do well with my gashmias, to create a Elokeinu Melech Olam. This is all the Malchus Hashem. Look at the bracha that Hashem gave us. The more you drive in Eretz Yisrael, the more you see the rain and the greening and the plants and the skyscrapers and the startups and everything else. The more you see Malchus Hashem, in my opinion. I look at it, I see Malchus Hashem. Wow. Like a miracle of Malchus Hashem. You don't say, whoa, these guys got way too gashmias as Eretz Yisrael. It was so much nicer when it was, when there was no running water here. It was not. It was not. People were starving. People were dying of all kinds of diseases. It was ridiculous. I mean, Baruch Hashem, there's garbage pickup every day, and Baruch Hashem, there's skyscraper. Baruch Hashem, there's money. Baruch Hashem, people have a car and two cars, and they have houses. This is Birchas Hashem. We should v'asafta deganecha v'siroshcha v'itzarecha v'asati yesem v'sadcha l'vamtecha. We say this every day. Obligation. And we say, too much gashmias. I'm not like a Roman here. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that. So says the Mesil Sisharm, he says a Gavaldik Kazach. He says, like you see, that when Yaakov Avinu, this is what he says there in Parakal, if you look at, when Yaakov Avinu went to sleep, so the 12 stones, Chazal say, had an argument, Mi aniach tzadik al roshi. Alai yadiach tzadik is roshi. Alai yadiach tzadik is roshi. So he says, what's the pshat? This is the stones, as the Ramchal, are a piece of stone. It's gashmias. Stone. It's nothing. It's doibeg. It's a stone. But the stones wanted to be used for the rosh of the tzaddik. So the idea is that the gashmias is meant. It's not just I'm doing this this is what I want to say. It's not just that I'm doing this in order I should do that. It could be deeper than that. B'chol Derech Echadei, who says that's l'shem shamayim, that's a good thing, but that's for amateurs. The high madreg is that whatever I have, this is my lifestyle. My lifestyle is all about Malchus Hashem. There's no difference. So what was Rabbi Yehuda Nasi? Picks up his hands and he says, I have everything and I had everything and I'm missing no pleasure. But loy nisi be'olam hazeh or b'kol b'shiyeshli, I think he said, afilu me'etzba katana. He picked up 10 fingers and he said, even my etzba katana I didn't have ana. What does he want from his etzba katana here? What's up his etzba katana? What he was saying is, he didn't have ana. Come on. He didn't have good food. The Gemara tells us that he had inglets, lisa, he had special kind of meats, and he had chefs. And what do you mean you didn't have enough? What he meant to say, this was all Malchus Hashem. I made a bracha. Making a bracha simply means, and this is the point, making a bracha simply means that I make a commitment that what's mine belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What's HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me, that's mine. And this is, by the way, this is the bracha of all the Nevi'im, as he says. Achar abracha shetzayir ayachas haruchani sheyesh leim hanoah agashmis or barachavase lishtamish b'sofas goyach gashmi tarchiv dartu miyad v'koychosav haguvnim misgadlam yutamid muchanim lifot tzedek v'toiv. I'm automatically doing good. I'm automatically. Rebbe had a line at his house all day for poor people collecting money. Tell me, oh, Mafarnis, tell me the Chacham. Kfi ha'ara haruchnis asher tifal of kol bekisha shel anagashis. Alkein. B'maimed kazer roi loshen ha'aretz nasan livnei adam. Hashem gave Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi and Shlomo HaMelech and all of us to some degree a certain piece of the rock here, where we are doing ruchnius with that rock. It's not that the rock is for ruchnius. The rock is ruchnius. This is Elokeinu melech haolam. Koidem habracha, we have to tell the guy, look, this is a shul. Achar habracha, my whole world is a shul. My whole world is Lashem haaretz umlaya. Lahabit ba'ayin toiv, listen to the sentence. Lahabit ba'ayin toiv, when we should look with a good eye, al ha'oiskim b'yeshuvah shel olam, on those that are making the world work. Right? Who looks at a good eye at people that are making a lot of money, or politicians, or but if they're being osek b'yeshuva shalom, if they're making the world a better place to live in, so they're making ruchnius, they're making malchus Hashem. Hashem made a world, yes. We'll take care of it. It's good. It's a good tazach what they're doing.
Is he talking about the Zionists?
Yeah. Alkein Yeshuas from Nachamos, I think so. Hayudas lanu al yedei anavim. So therefore, all the Yeshuas and the Nachamos, which were promised to us, al yedei hanavim, this is so important, mishubatzais barachavais gashmias rabbis. It's all about gashmias. What did they say? What did the Nevi'im say? Go pick your Navi, Yeshayahu, Yirmiyahu. Hashem will be Archiv Gvulcha. He'll make trees grow. He'll make fruit grow. You'll have animals. You'll have the respect of the Goyim. People will come. You'll have economy. That's the brachas. Why isn't the brachas should be? You won't need any of that. You'll just be able to sit with nothing. It's not, because that's not the way Hashem made the world. He made the world with bracha. We say it in Kriyashma. You don't have to go all the way to Yeshayahu. Shehein la'edal raimus hamatzav haruchni she'elav nekave. Shekol ela hagadulas hachumrius yeruim liyos lanu l'tiferes. That's the whole intention of it. And then he quotes the pasuk in Yeshayahu, "V'samti kadkaid shimshoisecha, v'sharayich la'avnei ektech." Yeshayahu promises us that there will come a time that our walls will be made out of sapphire and our floors will be made from diamonds. B'chol gvuleich la'avnei chefetz, and you'll be surrounded by precious stones. B'chol banayich goes together with that limudei Hashem. Rav Sholem banayich. And what do Chazal say on that? Al tikra banayich elo boinayich. The builders of the world. It's beautiful. The day we're hoping for is that when we all live in palaces. There's no asceticism here. The asceticism is for the person that didn't make the bracha. So, what's the beauty of it? The days of Mashiach is I'll have everything that I deserve. There won't be any gezel because everybody will have. There won't be any jealousy because everybody will have. Now let me just say something here. We still have the picture of Rav Steinman sitting in front of us, who won't sit back on his chair, doesn't even have a back on his chair. We still have pictures of the Chazon Ish in our mind and the Chafetz Chaim in our mind. So I just want to say the following. They made a bracha. There's no question about it. But there's another madrega, which he's not telling us. And there's a madrega of Shevet Levi. So Shevet Levi is a certain Shevet. Shevet Levi is a certain Shevet which was ordained Shaloyem Chelek V'Nachal Ba'aretz. What does that mean? Shevet Levi was there to serve, and they have no property, they have no food, they have no money. Everybody supports them, but they don't have any money of their own, and everybody's allowed to say, "Oh, you had enough food. I don't have to give you more. Why are you buying a fancy car? You're a Levi, right? You don't want to be a Levi." So the Rambam says, "Lo shevet Levi b'lvad." You don't have to be a Levi, but anybody who kol b'olam that wants to be a Levi, you could be a Levi, and you could be mashlich yourself on the tzibur, and you could say Hashem benas chalki. Hashem is taking care of me. So don't jump for this job, I'm telling you. Because jumping to be a Levi, even though this is like this Rambam is used as a sort of a heter to be nana from the tzibur, it comes at great cost. In other words, being a Shevet Levi means that I'm going to divorce myself from Gashmis. Hashem said, you have one Shevet that's divorcing yourself from Gashmis. You're going to live even after the bracha. You're going to live very, very simply. Why? Because you're not allowed to own land, and you're not allowed to work, and you're not allowed to get a prostitute. You can't be say I'm from Shevet Levi, but I'm buying a dira. That doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. If you're from Shevet Levi, then you're not buying a dira and you're not buying a car. Even if you're doing it, with some kavana that I could have arachim, doesn't help. Shevet Levi is you're born to serve. And a person can put themselves in that situation, but you have to understand the responsibility goes with that. So I think that certain Gedolim said, okay, Yehuda's Malchus, Levi's Levi. But so if I'm from Shevet Levi, if you want to put yourself in that place of Shevet Levi, so that's a huge achrayus, and then you have no kesher with all the brachas. Nasati matar tzechem b'itay v'oiro malchus. That's for you. That's not for Gam Levi.
The Gemara of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Shmuel. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai comes out and he sees the guy just running around with his Masata Diganecha, and that shouldn't be.
Okay, so look, so let's go to the Gemara. Get back into your cave. Get back into your cave. In other words, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a Havamina and a Maskana. So the Havamina was, he sees farmers, he sees people running in the streets, and he says, Menichin Chaya Olam, Oiskim Chaya Shah. That's what he said. What are you getting involved with this world for? The Baskol says, go back into the cave. He comes back out. And what does he see? He sees a man running with Hadassim, 2 Hadassim. And he says, why do you have 2 Hadassim on the street? So he's, oh, okay.
But he didn't just say, well, this is Hashem's bracha. He said, I'm using it for a mitzvah.
He said, it was his life. His life. My life is Zachar V'Shama. That's what he was saying. It's not that. In other words, what I'm saying is, you'd have to apologize for his hadassim. It's hadassim, Shabbos. What am I doing? It's Shabbos. You go to the store, buy a new suit. Are you doing something wrong? So you have to be embarrassed about?
But that answers, I'm using the car to go to a Shiur and to pick
I think he's saying more. I think if you look at the Gemara, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai said, is everybody doing everything l'shem shamayim? Menichin chaya olam. But afterwards he said that b'chol drachecha de'eyu. I think when he saw the besabim, he saw a pasha yid. That's what the Gemara said. Ra ikar echad. He saw a pasha bench running, and his whole life was about Shabbos. And his whole life, that's just about the Hadassim. His whole life was about Shabbos. And his whole running was about Shabbos. And his whole Hadassim were about, everything is about Shabbos, okay? Your whole life it was a deeper than L'Shem Shamayim. So Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was able to look at the world differently and say, you know what, it's okay. It's not mutter. You understand the chiddush that I want to say today, and I just get past it and go to the Nefesh, back to the text of Nefesh Hachaim. It's not a b'diavad. Once you make a bracha, it's not a b'diavad, because like the Gra says, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam. Once you have malchus, that's malchus.
Is that a yichud?
See, do you have 1 second? Indulge me 1 second for it. I said this, I spoke to a group of boys came here on Shabbos. But I said this to them, but it's such a darkistic point that I was afraid they wouldn't get it, but they got it better than me. That, everybody knows that Mordechai gave Musar to Esther. He says, go speak to Achashverosh, and she says, he's going to chop off my head. That's not the right thing. You don't go in front of the Melech unless he calls you without an appointment. And Mordechai says, Al Tachrishi, Leis Kazois, Miyadeim, Leis Kazois, Higat Lamalchus. Who knows? Maybe. So, who knows? I mean, everybody knows. What's the shaila? You read the story. It's obvious that Esther was supposed to save the Jews, but she, maybe not. So we say that, and if they're going to chop off your head, so chop off your head. I mean, who's somebody here wouldn't get their head chopped off to save the whole Persian Empire, the whole Jewish world? So chop off my head. So my yekvar. So I'll live 5 years less than what's the big deal? Like why? What's going on? I think that there's so much more in this conversation, so much deeper. Esther somehow or another got into a lifestyle where she was a gvirta. She was in the malchus. She was in the, she was like, lahavdil, maybe not lahavdil, I don't know, like Ivanka, So all of a sudden she's there and she's rich and she's being waited on head and toe. And she has the ear of the melech and all the sarim and she's a wealthy person and she's and Mordechai, the nudnik, comes and says, speak to Achashverosh. Like it's like, if I'm doing fundraising and I know somebody who has a job working for a rich guy, can you speak to him? Tell him, boy, like, what is he saying to me? He's saying to me that not me. Lo osim kain, like this is my job, this is my place. What are you rooting my? Like I can't. He told me when I hired me, don't bring me mishulachim. I hear these things all the time. So okay, you hear it, right? So like, what are you rooting my lifestyle? It's not appropriate. It's not politically correct. It's not proper for me to do so. We're not talking about this moment in Esther's life. Esther came to a place of malchus, as do so many Jews. And this is what I told these guys. So many Jews come to a place of malchus. So many Jews come to wealth, and they come to influence, and they come to places of greatness. But then they don't want to. Mordechai's musar was, why do you think Hashem made you a gevir? Why do you think Hashem put you in this position? Why do you think these are your neighbors? It's not a question of like, can you talk to him for me? Can you talk to him for me? That's not what it is. If we look at our whole life, everything that Hashem blessed us with, and Esther was certainly blessed to live in and not only was she blessed by Gashmius, they didn't even know she was Jewish. she didn't even have that. Nobody was looking at her from the corner of their eyes and saying, look at what she's eating too much garlic. Nobody was doing that. So she was 100% comfortable and in a certain position. And she didn't want to abuse her position of wealth. It's lo osim kain. This is not the way it works. Mordechai, in these circles that I'm walking, you can't just go and talk, and it's not the way it works. And Mordechai said, Esther, al tachrishi leis kazais. You're wrong. Mi yoideya im leis kazais. Maybe it's this moment, maybe it's another moment, maybe it was before, but this is a pretty good cause, saving the whole Jewish people. But leis kazais, he got to the malchus. You're part of the malchus. You're part of the malchus. It's not pasha that you're part of the malchus. So in a chanami, you don't have to abuse it. But sometimes you give up on all those things. And you say, well, what did Hashem make me wealthy for? What did Hashem give me this house for? So this is much deeper for Esther than you have a melech, so go talk to him. Use it for ruchnius. It's called rechecha de'ehu. Like, where are you? What happened to you, Esther? What happened to you? Did you forget who you are? Did you forget what you are? Did you forget that you're a Kadosh Baruch Hu's Bria and Hashem created this whole situation for you? It's a whole different idea. As I say, it's a darkistic difference. I don't think anybody would get it, but they got it better than me because they kids, wealthy families, so they understand. Like there's a reason, there's an influence, there's a malchus that you can create out of this. So don't push it away or don't give it up. Use it for the malchus Hashem. Okay.
What about